Hey, it's one of those moments where you're standing in the garage, looking at a piece of equipment that could either be a game changer for your hobby or just another pricey box that gathers dust. I've been there trying to decide whether a new lathe is worth the investment, especially when you've already got a few tools that almost do the job. The Laguna Tools Revo 220v 3HP model is one of those machines that shows up on a lot of hobbyist forums, and before you click Add to Cart, I wanted to walk through the real-world factors that will tell you if it's the right fit. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about why buying a lathe can feel risky. A lathe is a capital-heavy tool. You're paying for the motor, the bed, the variable speed drive, and the whole frame that's supposed to keep your workpiece steady. If the motor never reaches the speed you need, or if the bed flexes under load, every cut you make will be compromised. That's why a lot of beginners hesitate. Do you need the full 3 HP of a 1725 revolutions per minute motor, or could a smaller, cheaper machine do the job? Conversely, a seasoned woodturner might worry that a 3 HP motor will never really push the limits of larger projects because the drive system or the bed isn't engineered for the stress. So, who should really be looking at the Revo? If you're a hobbyist who already has a 1 HP or 1.5 HP mini lathe and you've started to feel the constraints of small swing capacity and limited speed range, the Revo could be a logical next step. Its 24-inch swing and 36-inch distance between centers give you room to tackle larger bowls, pens, and even small spindle work without constantly swapping out components. The built-in variable speed frequency drive is another plus. You can dial in a precise speed from a low 200 revolutions per minute all the way up to 1725 revolutions per minute, which is useful when you're moving from delicate turning of a thin-walled vase to a heavier stock that needs more torque. On the flip side, if you're just getting started with a modest budget, or you mainly work with small projects that never exceed a 12-inch diameter, you might find the Revo overkill. The machine's footprint is larger than many entry-level lathes, and the 3 HP motor, while powerful, draws more electricity and can be a little louder than the quieter quiet-turn models you see at local maker spaces. Additionally, the price point sits in the mid-range, so you're paying a premium for features that may not be fully utilized if your shop space is limited. Now, let's dig into the practical strengths. The biggest win for the Revo is the induction motor paired with its variable frequency drive, VFD. In everyday use, that combination translates to smooth acceleration and deceleration. I've seen videos where seasoned turners spin up a piece of green wood from a crawl to high speed in just a few seconds, without the motor stalling or the belt jerking. That smoothness matters when you're doing delicate sand shaping or when you need to change speeds on the fly for a finished pass. The 3 HP motor also means you can hold a heavier workpiece without worrying about the motor bogging down, which is a common frustration on smaller machines when you try to turn a dense hardwood or a metal-turned spindle. Another practical convenience is the built-in VFD controller. Many competitors require you to purchase an external speed control unit, which adds cost and takes up bench space. With the Revo, the control panel sits right on the side, letting you tweak RPMs with a dial that feels responsive. In a real workshop, you're not constantly reaching for a separate box, you just turn the knob while the machine is running. That reduces the chance of a mistake like accidentally setting the speed too high because the interface is designed for quick, tactile adjustments. On the weakness side, the machine's packaging and weight are worth noting. The Revo ships in a large crate that can be awkward to maneuver through a standard garage door. Once unpacked, the lathe itself is hefty enough that you'll likely need at least 2 people to move it onto a sturdy workbench or stand. If your shop is on the smaller side, you'll have to allocate a permanent spot for it, which could crowd out other tools. Also, the lathe does not come with an extensive set of accessories. You'll receive the basic tooling chucks, a faceplate, and a few standard tools, but anything beyond the basics, such as a live center, a dead center, or a larger set of sanding tools, must be bought separately. That adds to the total cost of ownership and can catch first-time buyers off guard. Another subtle but real issue is the heat generated by that 3 HP induction motor. In a tight shop without adequate ventilation, the motor can raise the ambient temperature, especially during longer runs. I've heard hobbyists mention that the motor's enclosure gets noticeably warm after an hour of continuous operation, which can be uncomfortable if you're standing right beside it.